Hey everybody, we're back with bonus episode number 3 of this special series during our 4-week slow living challenge, during which we're talking a little bit about each of the weekly themes and inviting listeners to share their insights and experiences on Instagram or in the Almanac, where all of our community members are talking about the things that have to do with Slow Living Challenge on certain discussion threads and posts and sharing things. And remember, even if you haven't joined in the Almanac yet, you get 1 week free trial just for joining in the challenge. So you can jump on in there and see everything that's going on.
Yeah, and we'd love to see all of you in there, and we would love it even more if you decide to stay and get the benefits of all the content that's available there. The articles, the community activities, gatherings, events, archived workshops, all of it is centered around slow living through the seasons.
Another aspect of your Almanac membership is that it helps support this podcast. So sort of like a Patreon account or, another type of, you might listen to other podcasts that have subscriptions. We've sort of done that and combined it with our community platform that has just a ton of content and things to learn and resources and people to connect with. So it's sort of a combo. We really depend on this community to help support this show and the community and all that we do. So we really appreciate it. And every week we come back with interviews about the good dirt, and we just love everything that this community brings. So even if you don't think you'll take full advantage of the community, it sort of acts like the propeller that keeps all of this going.
Yeah, and we really love all the great feedback we're getting from our listeners about the good dirt. It really inspires us and encourages us to keep reaching out, to bring y'all the best ideas and conversation on all the topics we touch on: sustainability, regenerative agriculture, slow food, slow fashion, conscious consumerism, slow living, all those things.
And we're so grateful. We so appreciate all the enthusiasm. And I'll add here too that if you have any ideas of people that you'd like to hear from on the show, definitely reach out and let us know. We take any and all suggestions. If you feel like you would be good on the Good Dirt podcast, we'd love to hear from you too. So yeah, we're always looking for great guests. And with that, we will go right into this week's theme of the Slow Living Challenge, which is Cultivate Appreciation.
It's really a wonderful expansion of last week's theme when we talked about how to develop a feeling inventory and learning to shift where we are in any given moment to a better feeling place. Because cultivating appreciation in any situation is a really effective way of shifting our mindset in the moment. So how would you explain this to others, Emma?
Well, I guess the easiest way to say it is like having an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Which is like something you used to say to us growing up. So yeah, that's kind of at its most basic terms. If you're thinking of something that is making you feel disappointed or discouraged, I find it a really easy thing to do in that moment, even if it feels unrelated, is to think of something that you're really grateful for or appreciative of, and it really does kind of change your brainwaves.
Yeah, and again, in the words of Eckhart Tolle, be the observer of your mind, and you flip the thoughts that are taking you in a direction you don't want to go. And granted, there are so many situations in which this might be really difficult, but I'm willing to put out there that for the most of us, for most of our normal daily experiences and interactions that tend to take us into a place of irritation, discontent, resentment, anger, regret, all of those pesky things that can rob us of the joy of any given moment, there is an alternative perspective that includes something to appreciate. And that gift of appreciation, even in the smallest of doses, can shift not only our mood and our mindset, but our interactions with others and even our body chemistry.
Yeah. So a really good example of that is like if you're stuck in traffic. I feel like I bring up this example a lot. Maybe
It's a
I
good
drive
one.
too much.
Yeah.
If you're in traffic or at a stoplight, and it's so like road rage is just like so easily accessible, but it's also a great opportunity because you're literally confined to that space and there's really nothing much you can actually do in that moment to change your situation. Like you really can't do anything about the traffic or the red light. So the first thing that I do is just like accept the fact that I can't change that I am not in control of that situation, and then kind of take the opportunity to like, well, I can't do anything else right now, so I can kind of relax, either like we're talking about, think of something that make me feel better, or put on some music that might make me feel better, or find a great podcast and just sort of shift that moment.
Yeah, it reminds me of our slow living challenge prompt, which we've had such a reaction to about doing nothing for 5 minutes.
Right. It's a good opportunity to do nothing for
You can
5
say,
minutes.
okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
See how that feels. Yeah, and here's another one that's probably easy to relate to is being frustrated with another person for whatever reason, like maybe a person in the store that's checking you out too slowly, or, I think of being at the DMV or something, or you're not getting the help you think you need. And there's so many instances where you're ready to judge and blame another person for not being enough or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Your roommate for not doing the dishes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, and that can shift really quickly by focusing on the qualities you love and appreciate about that person, if it's someone close to you, like your roommate, or if it's someone you don't know so well, like if you're in the DMV or whatever. You might appreciate that there are things you don't know about them and their life, and you can appreciate the opportunity to expand yourself to the point of even considering that and letting go of those feelings that don't serve you or anyone else, and just kind of get your blood pressure going and, just make you feel bad.
Yeah, the DMV is a great example too, because while you're there unable to do anything else, you can observe at how literally exponentially more the amount of people that those frustrating DMV workers have to deal with, like in front of you in line.
Yeah.
Speaking from a recent experience that I had, it's really kind of an amazing place for all of humanity is on display.
No one wants to be there.
No. And what I do in that moment is I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I only have to be here,
Yeah.
hope if I'm lucky an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I'm still lucky I only have to be in this amount, and that I don't have to be here 8 hours a day, every day, literally on the customer service side of this. So
That's a good way to flip it.
Yeah. So do you think that this is all kind of what we're saying is like the same as gratitude and having an attitude of gratitude?
Well, they're certainly overlapping. But for me, real heartfelt gratitude is a feeling that might not be as accessible in a difficult situation as appreciation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something I might get to on the way to gratitude. Sometimes in a moment when I'm struggling, appreciation is the next step in a better direction. And that creates more of a space for real gratitude to come. Does that make any sense?
Definitely. It's like if you're having a discussion with someone you don't agree with,
Yeah.
and you can appreciate their point of view, but you're probably not going to feel grateful for their point of view.
Not yet.
But appreciating, right? Like it's kind of maybe another word for understanding or compassion or empathy. All these things kind of play into, maybe that's kind of what it is more versus gratitude. But then it ends up kind of doing the same thing as gratitude when you flip it.
Well, it's definitely embracing more of a generosity of spirit.
Yes.
Than judgment or anger and all those things. And that in turn, it helps us. It helps us in our moment of feeling, our moment of being.
Completely, yeah.
So like anything else, though, we realize that this takes practice because our knee-jerk reactions and feelings of negative emotions are often so automatic, and they can get a grip on us before we even know what's happening. But this little exercise is, once again, simply paying attention. We talk about that so often, and it just, paying attention is just so powerful.
Yeah. So we really hope that this helps you along in this week's Slow Living Challenge theme for the week, which is to cultivate appreciation. And even if you're dubious, we challenge you to give this a try and let us know what happens. We're so looking forward to hearing everyone's experiences all throughout the week. Before we leave you off for this week, Mom, do you want to say something that you might be working to cultivate appreciation for this week in particular, or something that you can think of from today that maybe was frustrating that you could appreciate?
Yeah, I had a lot to do today. I had a lot of tasks to accomplish, and it's tempting to feel rushed and maybe frustrated that I wasn't getting them checked off fast enough. But I can flip that and feel appreciative that I have tasks to challenge me, to challenge my creativity, to stimulate my mind, to keep me sharp and interacting with the world. And all those things are good. And I appreciate that. How about you?
I could say something similar probably. I feel like I spend a lot of time worried that I don't make enough money or I'm not doing the right things. can anyone relate? And, especially with this project that we're doing together, and I have a couple of side hustles and I have other things that I'm working on. And if I stop and think about it, I'm like, I literally have my dream job. This is so fun. And I get to do something that I'm really interested in and excited about. And yeah, I think just kind of having that. Actually, I'm doing my dream job right now.
And you get to work with your mom.
Yes.
That's the best. And I get to work with my daughter. That's huge. That's huge. I appreciate that so much. I do.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Like when we're getting on each other's nerves.
That never happens.
Well, we hope that you all can cultivate some appreciation this week.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good week to, like we were talking about, maybe there's something that the person that you're living with or your loved one or your sibling is constantly getting on your nerves for something. And maybe this is a good opportunity in the slow living challenge to flip that around. And in the little everyday things that can seem mundane, the more we appreciate them, really, truly, the more magical life is.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. And we'll be here Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you on Friday. We have a great interview lined up. Bye-bye.
Have a great week. Bye.